Good morning and welcome to another Wine Steward video. Thank you for watching. This weekly video today will consist of, well, a lot of wines that I'm really pleased and proud to carry. Things that I think you would all like, but everyone has his or her druthers, don't you? And so maybe something here is going to pop out and you'll be coming in the store any day now and saying, I want that Barolo you were talking about. How much is it? And we'll tell you, and you'll say, okay, I still want it. Well, let's tell you about this first. This is a wine that is imported by the venerable importer Kermit Lynch, and we have long admired this white Bordeaux called Chateau Graville Lacoste. Chateau Graville Lacoste is the maker of this 80% Semillon, 20% Chardonnay. And as soon as I heard that cepage would mean the grape ingredients, the list of grape ingredients, that's the cepage. As soon as I heard that cepage, I assumed before tasting this that it would be a richer white wine, perhaps less refreshing. Turns out no, entirely done in stainless steel, and even though Semillon, being the rounder, richer of the two members of this cepage, it's refreshing, it's zingy, it's delicious. It's a great wine for these warm days we're finally experiencing. So get on this very nice, fresh white Bordeaux from Graville Lacoste, specifically from the Grave region of southern Bordeaux. Grave sounds a little bit, or looks a little bit like gravel. It's a very gravelly area, in fact. Graville Lacoste, imported by Kermit Lynch, refreshing, delicious, 80% Semillon, 20% Sauvignon Blanc, no oak. Next wine to tell you about is a Châteauneuf-du-Pape that we recently brought in. Many of you have come to admire this wine type from the southern Rhone Valley of France. Châteauneuf-du-Pape literally means the new house of the Pope, and this is in fact where 7 popes in a row lived in the city of Avignon for about 100 years, back in the 14th century. And so this place remembers its famous residents with the name Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and in fact, many of the bottles from here have the papal coat of arms on there. So this is going to be Grenache and Syrah. It's from the 2018 vintage, which wasn't quite the whopper vintage that, let's say, 16 and 19 were, and I think that's kind of a relief. This is more classically styled Châteauneuf-du-Pape that is not overwhelming with its fruit. Certainly there's fruit, but there's also that other more mysterious element known as garrigue, or airborne dried herbs, that the famous Mistral wind is consistently basting the hanging grapes with. It's a windy place, and it is believed that the local herbs get into this wine. It is really lovely. It's balanced for the type, and so is the price. The price is quite nice for this typically pricey type. This is $39.99, and you wine club members enjoying your 10% discount can acquire it for just $35.99. And I think you who have been longing for and missing the more classical style from this region will have it in this very, very nice wine, which is called Grand Reserve Papal. Grand Reserve Papal, again, another allusion to the Pope residence of the 14th century. Voila. Let us now tell you about aforementioned Barolo. This is from Conterno Fantino. Very famous name in Barolo. Barolo is the name of a sub-region within Piemonte, Italy, up in the northwest part of that country. And you know what? It is indeed the greatest Nebbiolo in the world. One must call it the king of Nebbiolo. That is the grape. Barolo is the place. And this is a wine you can, in fact, age for 10, 15 years, or get into now if you decant it and cook for it. Ossobuco would be a classy thing to have with this beautiful wine. And I would ask you to acquire these glasses if you don't have them yet, because Barolo and Syrah and Pinot Noir really shine in this what we call New World Pinot Noir glass. So get these two together, perhaps decant this for an hour and a half or so first, maybe while you're cooking that Ossobuco, and enjoy a wine of which we were able to buy just 4 six-packs, 24 bottles. We already sold a good amount of it because I showed it at an off-site event last Saturday. It was beloved there. We showed it as the final wine of the night. Even after some big New World reds, we poured a classic Barolo from a very, very good vintage of 2019. Conterno Fantino, Grab it while you can. It's beautiful, beautiful Barolo. Next wine to tell you about is yet another wine that I was pouring at that off-site event. Did you know we do that kind of thing? Yeah, we can come to yours if you would like. So we can help you put on a great wine party. How about that? Well, this was another star of that show, and in fact, we were raffling off a 3-liter size bottle of this same wine. This is 2019 Pedestal from Long Shadows. A gentleman who passed away only recently, named Alan Shoup, brought Chateau St. Michel, the winery in Washington, Chateau St. Michel, from, let's say, garage size to the large and impressive size it is now. And as the CEO of that place, bringing it up, he did realize upon retiring that he really, really wanted to fulfill his dream of owning his own winery someday. So he started this operation called Long Shadows and invited a different rock star winemaker from somewhere else in the world to each come and make his own wine there. So Michel Rolland, who's a famous dude originally from Bordeaux and has made great Bordeaux in his past, and now trots the globe, you could say, heads to South America to make great wine and other places as well. Alan Shoup invited him to come make a fantastic Merlot, the Bordeaux's that he was making in Washington State. He has done that indeed with other great winemakers. John Duval, the former winemaker of Grange, the great Shiraz blend from Australia, is invited up to annually make a wine called Sequel Syrah, and in other words, work with his specialty grape again. Randy Dunn of Howell Mountain in the Napa Valley goes up there and makes Feather for Feather, which is kind of an ironic name because Dunn never makes a light wine, right? It's not light as a feather, but it's a big, beautiful Washington State Cabernet, as done by Howell Mountain winemaker Randy Dunn. And so you get the idea that this one winery hosts all these different great names of winemaking from elsewhere, and it kind of gives Washington State its deserved credibility. So get in on this beautiful Merlot. I often consider it the best of the whole series that I've just described. There's more than I didn't describe. It's a really fun wine and lineup of wines which are often featured at our Washington State event that we do annually. Anyway, Pedestal is big, dark Merlot. I do believe some of the best Merlot in the world hails from Washington State, and this substantiates that claim. Pedestal Merlot, beautiful, 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 dark, yum. If you're a cab lover, don't omit a Merlot like this from your pantheon of wines. Now, let's take you to a totally different place, a totally different wine that costs a bit less. The wonderful thing about the value you can get from Rioja, Spain. This comes from Marques de Murrieta, a longtime maker of beautiful, beautiful Tempranillo there. This includes the friends of Tempranillo, Graciano Masuelo, also known as Carignan, and Garnacha. But most of this is Tempranillo. It's very soothing, mouth-filling, easy to drink. It is a delicious Reserva, which sounds expensive, but it's well under $30 and even less than that with your wine club 10% discount. So try this beautiful new vintage of Marques de Murrieta Reserva Rioja. Fun to say. Here's a nice wine from Santa Maria, Santa Barbara County, but it includes Santa Maria and Santa Rita Hills fruit. It's a lovely Pinot Noir from Paul Otto, someone of whom you may not have heard, but his story is a great one. He was born in Poland, and during communist rule of that country, he took a little vacation in Spain. I guess you can get out for a little bit and not go too far, and you know what? He forgot to go home. He forgot to go back to Poland and basically defected and ended up in Toronto, Canada to become a wine sommelier for a great restaurant. And then from there ended up really wanting to learn how to make wine out in Santa Barbara County. And who did he bump into there but Jim Clendenin, the then proprietor and winemaker of Au Bon Climat. Jim himself only passed away, a couple of years ago. But in the meantime, hooked up with Paul Lotto, let Paul, actually, who didn't have much money at the time, sleep on his couch and for 6 months until Paul said, I want to start my own winery. And Jim said, well, that's it. You're out of here, competitor. But Paul Lotto started his Pinot Noir emphasizing house. He makes about 8 different Pinot Noirs every year, including this one called Matinee, which is a Santa Barbara blend of 6 different vineyards. And it is beautiful. It doesn't try to be heavy, but it is fully ripe, elegant. It's on its toes, or at least on the balls of its feet, as far as its kind of levitated and ethereal style. It's lovely wine. Try this beautiful small production. I think only 200 or 300 cases made. It might even be his biggest production, Pinot Noir. Palato Matinee Pinot Noir. Hey, you remember a guy named Rolando Herrera from Mi Sueño? He makes this. So we haven't carried a Mi Sueño wine in quite a while, but we recently hooked up with Rolando's sister-in-law, Vanessa Robledo, who runs this show called Noemi. Noemi is a beautiful line of wines, of which we carry 3. We have a lovely Chardonnay, a Pinot Noir from the Russian River Valley, and this gorgeous Napa Valley Cabernet, all made by Rolando Herrera. Beautiful, dark, sumptuous, easy, delicious Cabernet. You could have it with a ribeye steak. You could probably have it all by itself and enjoy it that way. So there's some wines that we are proud to have. I've only brought aboard recently that we thought you should know about. Let's take a commercial break to remind you that we sell fine spirits and show you probably the best-selling spirit at our recent event down at Sidetrack. I've talked this up before, but it's been a little while, and once I saw everybody's reaction to this 4 Pillars olive leaf gin, I realized, yes, this is probably one of our finest gins, and we sell a lot of different gins. This comes from the Yarra Valley of Australia, and as you see, I have a glass ready, and you're saying, wait, where's the martini glass, or where is all the ice, per what you were describing last week? Yes, this would in fact make a beautiful gin and tonic. It would make an amazing martini, especially with an olive added. But this is a gin worthy of being called and used as a sipping gin. In other words, yes, it is high in alcohol, and you could actually help that a little bit with perhaps ice. And besides, we want everything to be a little cooler right now, but just maybe a couple of pieces of ice just to dilute, but not to lose this beautiful olive character and sensual olive texture. Olive oil is actually incorporated barely into this gin. You can just feel it. You don't taste olive oil, but you feel an enriched texture going on in this wonderful 4 Pillars olive leaf gin. Oh, it smells so nice. Texture, really lovely. Lovely gin. You should check it out. All right. The spirits commercial is over, and now we're going to return to the topic of wine that we have been best known for over the years, and tell you about a few things that are on the wine bar menu this week. The ever-changing wine bar menu has been published for this week, and I'm not going to describe absolutely everything represented on that menu, but I thought I would hit a few points. I do think one of the great thrills of wine is the surprise of something you've never had before. And I don't think I'd ever had a very nice Sauvignon Blanc from the Langhe region of Piemonte, Italy before, until this was shown to us just last week. And I said, I gotta have this. It's kind of a Sancerre, you could say, knockoff. It is the equal of Sancerre in quality and almost price. It's a little bit less than the typical Sancerre as a bottle price. This wine is Marchesi di Gresi, Sauvignon. All they say is Sauvignon. They could say Sauvignon Blanc if they want, but the Italian Sauvignons Blancs are often just abbreviated to be Sauvignon. This is from, once again, the Langhe region, which is very, very, very near where the Barolo that we described is made, up there in Piemonte, Italy, where you expect to see grapes like Nebbiolo, Dolcetto, Barbera, Arnese. The Cortese grape is near there, but Sauvignon, very, very rare. And if this was only rare and not very good, I wouldn't be interested, but it's actually very, very good. I mean, novelty is not enough to engage me. I smelled it, tasted it, and said, whoa, that's lovely. Very beautiful, steely fruit. It's fruity, but it's not so fruity that you don't feel kind of this sense of mineral as well. It's really lovely. Try it. Marchesi di Gresi is the name. I'll try to get that up to the screen. Take a screenshot. All right, so that's a white wine in our white wine flight, consisting this week entirely of Italian wines that are not Pinot Grigio. That's the name of the flight. All Italian, non-Pinot Grigios. Here is a dry rosé of the week that you can obtain only by the glass. This is called Remy Saves the Sea. Remy is the 13-year-old daughter of Nova Dorrance, who actually makes the wine. Remy loves the sea and all of its creatures therein, and every time you contribute your wine love to a beautiful 100% Carignan dry rosé called Remy Saves the Sea, a part of the your purchase is contributed to maintaining and saving wildlife in the good old ocean, the sea. So kind of cool, tastes good, really refreshing, no oak, dry rosé. made entirely, once again, of North Coast Carignan. One more wine to tell you about. How about that? Because I think I heard the back door ring, meaning there's a delivery person waiting for me. So let's just tell you quickly about a really lovely wine. I don't know if this camera is still working because the low battery alert has just come up. But let's just finish by saying a beautiful Côte d'Aron is also available. It's affordable. It's a Côte d'Aron made by a maker of Châteauneuf-du-Pape that doesn't cost as much. And it is this, if you can see it. I hope you can, and I hope we see you upstairs at the wine bar very, very soon. Thank you for your interest and continued participation at The Wine Steward, Pleasanton, California. Family-owned small business. Keep us alive, will you? Thank you.